you guys, welcome back to Emily's Adventures with Blindness. I hope y'all are having a awesome day. I'm recording this on a Tuesday night. I'm pre-recording a whole bunch of videos. This might go up tonight, this might go up tomorrow, I don't know. But I'm excited for this video. This is inspired by inspired by two different YouTube channels that I have seen this on, and it's a challenge. Do all blind people think the same? It is about 9 statements, and we're going to see how this goes. I have seen this on Jubilee, where they had about maybe 5 or 6. I could have the number wrong. Blind social media influencers or blind people who are pretty successful in their own right, and they basically asked them these questions, and they gave these questions kind of framed as statements, and saw how they answered them. And then I saw Kayla with a C, who is another blind YouTuber that I follow, do the same thing. And so I will link both of those videos in the description box. So go look at those videos so you can see where I got. Hold on, you guys. Let me fix my very professional. Sorry, I'm real close to the camera.
Tilt right.
For a minute, I am just re-propping you guys back up. But go follow those people, and sorry about technical challenges. You have to love starting out on YouTube and having a very professional camera setup. Your iPad Pro leaned up against 2 water bottles. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't work. So go follow those videos I was talking about and stick around for more of me and my weird, unprofessional, trying to be professional camera setups. And hopefully, if this YouTube thing takes off, my video quality will only improve. But we'll see about that. But the way this is going to work is I'm going to read the statement. I wrote down the statements from the video, and then I'm going to answer how they answered with strongly disagree, disagree, somewhat disagree, somewhat agree, agree, and strongly agree, and give y'all
YouTube now. Talos' podcast EP 117 lackluster, but the memes attachment.
A brief description of why. Sorry for my voiceover announcing that YouTube notification. Welcome to the blind life. But okay, let's go. So the first statement is being blind has enhanced my other senses. So I'm going to say somewhat agree on this, because it doesn't, and I don't think it has enhanced my senses in the way you would think. I don't think my senses are biologically better because I lost my vision, but I think I can pick up more in my environment because I have to. Like, I can hear things that other people can't necessarily pick up on because I have to. And sorry, y'all, real life. My roommate, you will be hearing my roommate next door. the walls in these dorms are paper thin, and so sometimes you'll hear things in the background while I'm filming, so I apologize. But yeah, I somewhat agree, just because, I can hear more things, or I can feel things because I read Braille. I was taught to read Braille, so I can sometimes pick up on like nuances in materials and things like that. But I think it's more because I was trained to pick up on those things. So yeah. Number 2, I prefer to date fellow blind people. This one's a little complicated. I'm going to say somewhat agree on this. And because real life slip again, but I'm going to fix it while I'm talking to you guys. I somewhat agree, because I'm not going to I'm not going to date someone based on the amount of vision that they have. Like, if they're total like me, cool, but if they can see, cool. But I agree, because sometimes dating someone who is also blind, they understand the struggles that you go through. They can understand what you go through and how you do things. You don't have to explain as much as sometimes dating someone who is sighted, which I wouldn't mind if I fell in love with someone who was sighted. But I also think dating someone who is blind has its perks, because they understand you and why you do certain things. But I also understand there are blind people who will only date sighted people, and I understand that one too, because sighted people can drive, and having someone who can drive who lives with you and you can't is honestly so much easier. But I'm not going to pick who I date strictly on if they can see or not. I believe that, or at least for me, personality and how you present yourself is more important. The number 3 is I am less shallow about my romantic partners. I'm going to say somewhat disagree on this one. If you have not been in the blind community, been around a whole group of blind people, we can be some of the most judgy, idiotic humans on the planet. But I wouldn't say that I'm judgy or that I'm shallow in the way, if as far as romantic partners is what you would think. I don't care as much about what you look like or things of that nature, but personality is a big thing for me. I'm very judgy about people's personalities and how they present themselves personality wise, or the vibes that I get from you. So I am judgy and shallow in that way, but not, that's why I said somewhat disagree, I think is what I said, because I'm very judgy, but not in the way that you would think. But if you think blind people aren't judgy, I challenge you to go meet some blind people. Some of us are the most judgy and shallow people you have ever met. Come hang out at some of the blindy conventions. You will learn a lot. The next one is unsolicited help makes things harder. I am going to say agree on this one, because it depends on the situation, really. If you just walk up to me and say, oh, there's a wet floor sign on your left, like just giving me that information, or hey, I'm walking up to you on your left, have a good day, or something like that, I'm like, oh, okay, thank you for the information, and keep walking. Like, oh, that person was nice. They didn't have to give me that information, but they did. But, don't ever just grab a blind person and steer them. Just because you think you think that we're lost and you think you know where we're going. You don't, honestly. You don't know where we're trying to go. If we look lost, don't be afraid to come up and be like, hey, you look lost. How may I help? That is the appropriate way to handle this. Or, hey, I'm passing by on your left. May I help you? And then give us back that autonomy of we're in control of the situation. And we will, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, unless we're having a really bad day, we're entitled to those too. 9 times out of 10, we will tell you, oh, thank you, this is how you can help, or oh, no, thank you, I got it, hope you have a great day, and keep going. So it depends on how you approach the situation. But I always say hashtag ask, don't grab. Like, don't be afraid to be like, hi, I'm nearby, how may I help? And we will explain. If we need help and how you can help if we need it. But if we don't need it, don't get offended. We know what we're doing. We've been trained on how to travel on our own and things like that. So the next one is the city you live in is accessible to you. I'm going to say somewhat agree, because it depends on what you're talking about. Where I'm at for school is really accessible. I can walk a lot of places. There's buses, there's Uber, there's Lyft. There's some not walkable places where there's no sidewalks, but you can get around here in Lafayette. But where I'm from, no, because we live about 15 minutes outside of the nearest kind of town, and it's not accessible. I mean, there's Uber and Lyft, but you can't walk anywhere, and you have to depend on people to drive you places, and there is downtown about 15 minutes away, but still there's not many places you can walk, so it just depends on where I'm at. Like, I'm not gonna stay where I'm from. Just warning to fam. Okay. Then the next statement is, I am truly offended if someone uses blind as one of my descriptive characteristics. I am going to say somewhat disagree on this statement, because the thing is, I am blind. Like, if you say Emily is blind and short, I'm not going to be offended, because that's true. I am blind and I'm 5'1". I am blind and short. Like, there is no way to avoid that. Or if you say, oh, I see a blind girl who is short and has red hair. That is a true statement. I am blind, short, and have red hair. Like, to me, the word blind is not a bad word, but I don't like it when people go, oh, it's so awesome how the blind girl can do XYZ. Like, I'm glad that you think it's cool that I can do something, but don't, like, I don't know. That just, like, don't use my blindness as a way to pity me, if that makes sense. Like, I don't like that. Like, if you're using it as a true descriptive word, like, like I said, like Emily is blind and short, like that, it is what it is. Like I am blind and I am short. But don't use it, and don't be like, oh, look at that, oh, like that blind girl, oh, that's so sad. Like, no, it's not sad. It just is what it is. And I feel like we need to make the world okay with the fact that people are blind and we can do ordinary things, and we don't need to make a big deal out of the fact that we can do ordinary things. Okay, enough on that tangent for now. The next statement is, being blind has affected my mental health. I'm going to say somewhat agree to this statement because, or actually somewhat agree. Yeah, somewhat agree with this statement because I guess it has affected my mental health in some ways. Like I get anxious to do certain things because of my blindness, or because I can't see, certain situations make me anxious, and so that's why the short answer is somewhat agree. And then the next one is, I have experienced discrimination. Yes. Strongly agree. I have experienced discrimination in so many different situations with school, mainly in school, in high school. So, yeah, we can go into a whole video about discrimination. I'm moving through these last couple kind of fast because the last one I'm going to want to spend a lot of time on, just because I get asked about this all the time. But if you want me to do a separate video on discrimination, we can go there then, but we're not going there now. So the last one that they did in this video, or these other videos, I'm just warning you, most people aren't going to agree with me on this. So it says, if I could regain my sight with a cure, I would. And my simple, no bullcrap answer is strongly disagree. Because I feel like learning about cures and stuff is cool, but I have been totally blind since I was 5 years old, and I'm 20 now. Honestly, I don't know how to be sighted. Do you realize, like, for me to regain my sight now would require so much work? Like, I would have to learn how to read and write and print, which I have no clue how to do, because I lost my sight at the time that my peers were learning how to read and write and print. I don't know how to drive. I would have to probably relearn what colors look like. I would have to relearn how to function as a human. And I really just don't want to do that. Like, it's just really, that sounds like really stressful to me, to relearn how to do everything that I have learned how to do without sight. Do I sometimes wish I could have it like temporarily for a couple hours to see a few things? Yes, but I don't think I want my vision back permanently, just because of the amount of stress that would take for me to learn how to do everything again. And unless there's some sort of miracle retina transplant, if I were to even regain any vision at all, it wouldn't be good vision because my eye makeup. Because I will link in the description the video of me explaining my eye condition. There's basically two holes, or there's holes in the centers of both of my retinas that have been there since birth. So unless they can replace that eye structure, my vision wouldn't be whole anyway. So I feel like it'd be too stressful, and my vision wouldn't be perfect anyway. So let's just leave it as it is. But I know that's gonna offend a lot of people. But I hope y'all enjoyed this really rambly video, and yeah, have a nice night. Bye.
20 minutes. Stop recording video.